Hey guys, today what we're going to be doing is looking at two types of special right triangles. Those two right triangles are 45, 45, 90, and the second is 30, 60, 90. So first off, let's start with this one. This is the first one we're looking at is 45, 45, 90 degree triangle. Now you know it's a 45, 45, 90. One, it's labeled with a 90-degree angle, and two, it's going to indicate somehow that these are equal. They might do that by putting these congruent marks, which means these sides are equal, or they'll put the 45-degree angles here. Now, what I want you guys to notice is this angle will correspond with this side, and this angle will correspond with this side, and the hypotenuse will correspond with that side. So now that we have that figured out, this is what I call like the formula triangle. We're always going to use this as reference. So anything across from 45-degree angle is x. Anything across from the other 45-degree angle is also x. And this would be x times radical 2. And we're just going to use this formula. This is basically my special triangle formula. So anytime we're given these, I'm going to plug it into the equal congruent side and solve for the others. So what do I mean by that? So obviously right here, I set up this, on all these, I set up a little triangle here to help you understand. If this is my x, this is my x, this is my x radical 2, okay? So what this is saying is, it's saying x, let me take a step back. These are my 45-degree angles. I know that because these sides are congruent. Therefore, these sides are correspond with these angles. So the next thing is I need to find C. My C value is across from the 90-degree angle. So I'm trying to find what x times radical 2 is. Now I know x is radical 10 because on my formula triangle, remember here are my corresponding sides. On my formula triangle, this represents x, and on this side, it's radical 10. Okay, so I know x is equal to radical 10. So I know that this side right here, where C is, this right here corresponds with this side on the formula triangle, which is x radical 2. So that means I look at this, I know what x equals radical 10. I know I need to plug it in right there, so I'm going to have radical 10 times radical 2, which would give me radical 20. So this side length right here is radical 20. I'm not done yet because what I need to do is I need to convert this, or I need to simplify this. So this is 4 times 5. This is 2 and 2. I have a pair of 2, so it's 2 radical 5. So this side, C is equal to 2 radical 5 as my final answer. Okay? Once again, I have this set up looking like this. I know it's a 45, 45, 90-degree angle because I have a 90 and a 45, which means this is 45. And I am trying to find the two congruent sides. Now, I know that this is x, and this is x, and this is x radical 2. Looking at these, I need to figure out, well, which one am I given? And as you can see, I'm given the x radical 2 side. So I know x radical 2 is equal to radical 24. Shown right here. So what I am going to do is I need to solve for x. And all I do there is I divide both sides by radical 2. And remember, anytime you're given two radicals that are being divided by each other, you can just divide them like this. So I'm going to be left with radical 24 over 2 is just going to give me radical 12. So then from here, all I'm going to do is simplify. This is 4 times 3. That is 2 times 2. So that means it would be 2 radical 3. So x would be 2 radical 3. So these sides right here, 2 radical 3, 2 radical 3. Okay? Let's go ahead and look at another one. This one's a tad tricky because it gives you a square. And I want you to realize that with the square, all sides are congruent on a square. And it wants us to find my legs. So I know that if I just focused on, here I'm going to kind of shade some of this out. I know if I just focused on that triangle there, it matches the one that I have right here. So I look at this and I can realize that, hey, if this is x, this is x, this is x radical 2. I then match at my side, which one am I given? I'm given radical 150 is equal to x radical 2. And all I need to do is solve for x, so I'm going to divide both sides by radical 2. And as we just showed on the previous one, we can just do 150 divided by 2 is equal to radical 75. So then I just break this down to 25 and 3, 5 and 5. So I have a pair of 5, so I'm going to have 5 radical 3. And that's going to be this side, my leg lengths. Okay? All right, so now that was one type of special case right triangle. The next one, what we're going to do is called a 30, 60, 90 degree triangle. We are also going to have a formula triangle here. All right, so the first side is going to be across from the 30 degree angle. This is just x, okay? Let's ignore that a right there. It's just x. And then across from 90, it's going to be twice as long as that, so that's going to be 2x. Now the third one is a little different. It's going to be x radical 3. So that's kind of like the weird one. It's the one in the middle. So yeah, if you have any questions, try to memorize this. Across from 30 is the smallest, across from 90 is twice as that, and the middle one, kind of like the middle child like myself, it's always the weird one, x radical 3. It's kind of weird looking. All right, so first thing, I have these two triangles that are matched up. What I always do in my formula triangle is I label it. Across from 30 is just x, across from 90 is 2x, across from 60 is x radical 3. Now I look at these and I want to say, which one am I given? Well, I am given the one across from 90, and that equals 2x. So I know 20 is equal to 2x. So that means to solve for x, I divide both sides by 2, and that will give me x equals 10. So I look at my formula triangle, I know x is 10. That is across from 30 degrees. So I go here. This is also across from 30 degrees, so therefore this is 10. Now the last and final one I need is y. Now y corresponds with the side that is across from 60, which is x times radical 3. Well, I already know what x equals. X equals 10, so that means across from 30 is just 10 radical 3. So that y right here is 10 radical 3. All right, let's go and look at the next one. Let's first off by labeling all these. It's my 30, this is my 60, and this is my 90, okay? On the formula triangle, make sure you have this written down somewhere. Across from 30 is always x, across from 90 is always 2x, and the one in the middle is kind of weird, x radical 3. So I look at these, I compare them. Make sure you always have corresponding sides match. So I have 60 with top, 60 over here, right angle on the bottom, right angle on the bottom, 30 in the right corner, 30 in the right corner. Now that they're all corresponding sides, corresponding angles, I can match things up. And what am I given is this 3. So this is telling me that 3 corresponds with the 2x. So 3 equals 2x. That means when I divide both sides by 2 to get x by itself, I'm going to get x is equal to 3 over 2. So that is the side across from 30 degrees. So this a value over here is 3 over 2. My last side is that I need to solve for is my b. Remember, b is across from 60. That is just the x value times radical 3. I already know what my x value is. My x value is 3 over 2. So that means when I plug it in, I'm going to have 3 over 2 times radical 3. And that's your final answer for b. So it could be written like 3 radical 3 all over 2. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and look at this one. Now, I didn't write them exactly the same because I want you guys to be able to figure it out by manipulating the shapes, by rotating it, flipping it. And I want you guys to realize that the triangles won't always match. So you need to maybe draw your own corresponding triangle. So what do I mean by that? So if I were to draw my triangle really quickly, so here's my triangle, and I'm going to label it just like how they have it over here. So I'd like you to do the same. Make sure you have it all written out nicely. And that means this is my 90 degree, this is my 60 degree, which means this is my 30 degree. And it's telling me across from 90 is 4/5. And remember, that is on my formula triangle. This is 2x, this is x, and this is x radical 3. This is telling me 2x is equal to 4/5. So if 2x is equal to 4/5, well, what does x equal? I would need to divide both sides by 2. So this would give me x equals 4 over 10, which reduces to x equals 2 over 5. So that means the side across from 30, which is right here, is 2/5. Now, last but not least, we need to find the b value. Remember, that is x radical 3. So I know x is equal to 2/5. So all I do is going to substitute this 2/5 in for x, which means 2/5 radical 3 is the side of b. Or it could be written a little more pretty as 2 radical 3 all over 5. Okay? Well, I hope this lesson helped with special triangles. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or your teacher.